to the channel. I hope you're all doing good out there. I hope that you're all pretty much thawing out there because lately we've been having some pretty decent temperatures. I mean, like really decent temperatures. Like today, at least in my neck of the woods here in central Pennsylvania, we're going to have temperatures up into the 70s today. Like it's gonna be really feeling like spring. So I hope that wherever it is, wherever you guys are at, I hope you're all, kind of experiencing the same kind of warm up that we're experiencing here, which means spring is on the way finally. Although I will say, according to my weather app, next week we are supposed to get back down into like the 50s and the 40s and maybe a little bit of snow, but I don't think it's really going to do much of anything. I think if anything it's probably going to just be rain or something. I think we're pretty much done with snow, and I think we're on our way to warmer temperatures on the more normal, than we've been having, especially since we're in March now and the time change is coming. As a matter of fact, we turn our clocks ahead tonight, so yay. Gonna lose an hour of sleep, but hey, we're gonna gain an extra hour of daylight, so that's always good. So yeah, hope everything's going good for you guys, and hopefully the weather stays on this path. Also, forgive my messy hair. I just did a 12-hour shift at work, and of course I work overnights, so I am tired, and I'm sure I look like crap right now. So that's always good too. But anyway, we're not here to talk about my looks. We're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to get back into this little series of videos that I'm doing about my life with hypogonadism, and we're back with another entry into this, and basically we're going to be talking more about me specifically in this video than the previous videos. So if you want to know some more stuff about my life with hypogonadism, stick around, because the Vochek experience starts right now. Welcome back to another video of the Vochek experience, where idiots are still always us. I'm always going to be an idiot for you guys, because that's what we do on this channel. We're all idiots. I'm an idiot, and we do that, in all fun. Like, we're not calling each other idiots. I'm not calling myself an idiot just to be mean or, whatever. It's a term of endearment, It's a compliment. It really is. Because you have to be some kind of idiot to sit here, talk to a camera, and, and all that stuff. So it is what it is. But anyways, with all that, like I said, it's another video in this series of videos of my life with hypogonadism. And I hope you guys have been kind of, enjoying, so to speak, or at least getting educated a little bit with the previous videos that I've released in this series, which was pretty much like just an intro to the whole thing, and, kind of like talking about what is hypogonadism and, what all entails, the symptoms and all that stuff, the treatments and all that stuff. But in this video, we are going to be talking primarily about me specifically. Finally. I know it kind of touched on me just a little bit in the last video in the series, but this video is more about me. And what this video is about is how I got diagnosed, when I got diagnosed, how old was I when I got diagnosed, all that stuff. So yeah, so let's pretty much jump into it, shall we? So I was diagnosed with hypogonadism when I was 16 years old. I probably should have been diagnosed with it a lot sooner, but however, it didn't quite work out that way. And what I mean by that is right around the time when I was turning 16, my mother and I decided to move to a whole new town and all that stuff. Basically, we moved close by to where one of my aunt lives and stuff like that, which was about 3 hours away from where we were living and all that stuff. And of course, when you move to a new town and all that stuff and you go to get established, one of the things you have to do is you got to find yourself a new doctor to go to and everything. And so we went and found a new doctor for me to go to. And basically, when they were doing like the initial exams and all that stuff, the doctor was like, "You're 16, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, something doesn't seem right." I mean, he was going off of like my voice being the high-pitched voice that it is, and with me being 16, my voice should be deepening and all that stuff because of puberty and all that stuff, and my voice just wasn't doing that and stuff. So he decided to, he didn't do the actual testing, but he sent me off to get additional testing and stuff. At, a different doctor, like a urologist and all that stuff. So, basically, after doing that, and going through some exams and stuff, it was determined that, I had low testosterone, otherwise known as hypogonadism. And so, of course, did a whole bunch of tests to determine like the severity level of it, what my levels were, all that good stuff, like it was like a major, thing. And I'm not sure if my old doctor, would have caught it because, I was already 16 and he didn't catch it at that point, So I guess in a good way, it was good that we moved and they kind of like noticed that and stuff. So, but basically, after all the testing and all that stuff was done, it was basically determined, that for the severity of my low testosterone and everything like that was to the point where he gave me a 99.9% chance that I would not be able to father any children, which back then, being 16, I was like, woohoo, yay, no kids, that kind of thing, because, being young and stuff like that, that's one of the things you think about, like no kids, yay. And, but of course, later in life, that kind of comes back to haunt me a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is. I've kind of come to terms with, that part of the deal about not having kids. But anyway, so yeah, he said I probably would not be able to have kids. And he also said that, it's pretty severe. Like I wasn't growing, like any kind of hair where I should be growing hair, like I wasn't growing hair like on my chest, my back, my armpits, stuff like that, So, so he decided to put me on, testosterone. And of course, I tried various methods. I tried getting the shot, which I get now. I tried the patches. Now the patches, is almost kind of like those nicotine patches, kind of, you put a thing on and then like your body absorbs the testosterone through the patch. I did that for a while, but that kind of got annoying because the adhesive and the, like my skin just got real irritated with it and it would itch and it would get, just real bad. So I went back to the shots And of course, I've been getting shots every 2 weeks pretty much since then. But with the shots though, like, unfortunately, that wasn't going to improve any odds of me having kids later in life. And it wasn't really going to do anything about my voice, because by the time pretty much they caught it and stuff, you know, it was already kind of too late to reverse anything. So unfortunately, my voice is kind of stuck like this, but it is kind of, in a way, kind of stuck in limbo too, because, well, this is my actual voice. I can deepen my voice if I want to. However, doing that does hurt my throat. And, you know, especially if I do it for a long period of time. And the doctor actually wanted me to try to talk like that all the time to kind of train my vocal cords and to get in deeper and stuff like that. But it just got to the point where, like, I was tasting blood in my throat. My throat was always hurting, like I had a sore throat. So I was just like, whatever, you know, my voice is whatever my voice is. And so for the deeper voice, sometimes I kind of do that to be funny, or I do it, you know, to, you know, kind of like play a joke on somebody, you know, or even when telemarketers call, you know, they always mistake me for a woman on the phone. So then I change my voice, you know, that kind of thing. It kind of freaks them out a little bit. So that's always fun. But I also noticed that, like, if I'm yelling, you know, like, my deep voice just comes out naturally if I'm yelling versus me, like, doing it on purpose. And I have noticed that over the years. But, I mean, it is what it is. This is my voice. This is how it is. It's not changing no matter what I do, no matter how much testosterone I take. My voice is not changing. This is how I sound. So, sorry to disappoint some of you haters out there that think that this voice is a fake voice. Sorry to disappoint you, but this is how I sound. And no, I don't have laryngitis. I'm not sick. I don't have a cold. You know, I don't have anything that's affecting my voice other than the fact that, you know, growing up, I just did not have enough testosterone, especially during puberty, to make my voice change like it should have. So, unfortunately, this is what it is. And I know all you haters out there, well, you know, and people that like to pick on me, you know, they always say, like, oh, Mickey Mouse, but whatever. It is what it is. So, I'm just trying to say is I would think twice before you make fun of somebody on the internet for what they sound like or what they look like or whatever, because they might have a legit medical reason as to why they sound or look the way they do. And, you know, and words mean stuff. Words can hurt. And so just, you gotta be mindful of what you say. I know, like, a lot of times they say stuff just, you know, for, you know, just to be funny and stuff like that, you know, because, you know, how people are when they're young, you know, kids are kids, you know, but you just got to learn that, you know, you might say the wrong thing to the wrong person and it could make them, you know, get worse, you know, especially if they're having a hard time with something, you know, or that you could make them turn, you know, like indifferent. I mean, there could be all kinds of different things. So you just got to, you know, remember that words have consequences, you know, and just always think twice before you, you know, say something that, you know, may not be appropriate or nice, you know. But anyway, but with all that, you know, so yes, every 2 weeks, I got to go to the doctor and I got to get a shot in my butt, every, you know, of testosterone. And sometimes it doesn't bother me when I go. Sometimes it does. It just all depends on the nurse, and it depends on, you know, when they jab me. And hi, Tilly. I was hoping to get through this video without you showing your butt off in the video. This cat loves attention, and a lot of times when I'm trying to do videos, she loves to kind of photobomb the video. So just kind of bear with me that, yes, there's going to be a cat that's going to pop up. And hopefully she does not knock over the camera. But anyhow, like I was saying, so I have to get that shot all the time. And sometimes whenever they give me the shot, you know, they'll hit a nerve, and then like my butt will feel like it's on fire for a few hours, and then sometimes it'll be like really hard to sit down because it really hurts. You know what I mean? And it's just, you know, it is what it is. And it's just something that you just kind of gotta have to live with. And like I was saying in one of the other videos, is that there are different severities of hypogonadism, and there are some that have it and are still able to have kids. There are some that have it and they, you know, their voice deepens and they live like pretty much normal lives. It just all depends on the severity. Unfortunately for me, the way I have it is it affects my voice, it affects hair growth, and it affects, you know, like my energy levels, and it also affects, like, you know, muscle mass and bone density. So I do have to go every so often, and I do have to get a bone density scan, just to make sure that, you know, things are still good with my skeletal system. Because one of the things with hypogonadism, you know, especially when you're not getting the testosterone that you need, is sometimes your bones can get more brittle and lose mass and stuff like that, and they could break a lot easy. Basically, your bones age quicker than, you know, the rest of your body, and you could be like, in my case, a 46-year-old man, but inside I could be an 86-year-old man. You know what I mean? Like, it can happen. And so they keep an eye on that. Every so often I get like MRIs and stuff done of my pituitary gland to make sure that's good. When I go to my endocrinologist, like every 6 months, 3 to 6 months, depending on what the doctor wants, I have to go and I have to get blood work taken. I have to have my testosterone levels checked, and, you know, all that stuff. So it's an ongoing process. It's something that I'm gonna have to live with for the rest of my life, you know. And I've had ups and downs with it, and I've had, you know, people who I thought were friends end up making fun of me later because of it. I've even dated some girls and some women in the past, you know, where they were like, oh, you can't have kids? Well, you know, I don't want you then because, you know, you can't, you know, do that. Or, you know, or they just have some kind of assumption that because I have problems like that I can't, you know, basically, you know, perform, I guess, you know, be intimate, you know, with them, you know, which is not the case, you know, but it's just the way it is. People think, you know, people get assumptions, and I've had lots of people kind of make fun of me, especially people I've dated, like literally make fun of me because of it. And I've even had my ex-wife used to make fun of me all the time, you know, with it, you know. And sometimes they wouldn't believe some of the, like my ex-wife and my ex-mother-in-law, sometimes they wouldn't believe, you know, some of the symptoms and some of the side effects of it were, and stuff like that. Like, it was a whole thing. And, you know, so I've been through the ringer. I've heard some nasty insults. I have been called a woman. I have been accused of frauding myself, or at least attempting to fraud myself. Back in the day when you were on unemployment and you had to call in, you know, to check in with, you know, to keep getting your unemployment and stuff like that. And One time I called and they wouldn't believe that I was me. They thought that I was some woman, and they thought I was trying to fraud myself out of my unemployment benefits. So that was a whole thing right there, you know. And I've had lots of times when people wouldn't believe who I was, who I said I was, especially over the phone. And that gets annoying too. So when I say my life with hypogonadism, it's not always, you know, rainbows and unicorns and, you know, happy dances and smiles and yays and stuff like that. You know, believe me, I've had my fair share of some negative stuff, getting made fun of, you know, people just assuming things and, you know, stuff like that. And you just kind of have to kind of grow a second skin, you know, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so I was diagnosed at 16. I'm 46 years old right now. So I've been doing this for 30 years, and it's not stopping anytime soon. It's not something I would wish on anybody, but, you know, but I will say this. If you do have hypogonadism to some degree, don't let people get you down. Don't let, you know, it bother you what people say. Don't let the fact that, you know, some things in your body may not work the way it's supposed to. Just don't, you know, just try not to let that get to you. And just, you know, be like, whatever. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, you know, people say stuff and they just don't understand, or they don't want to understand. And then eventually something happens and it's like, oh, you know, maybe I shouldn't have made fun of him because of this, because maybe something, you know, similar, or, you know, or some other thing happens, you know, in their family or to their loved one, you know, and then, you know, then somebody makes fun of them, and then they're like, well, that's not, you know, don't make fun of my, you know, that this person, you know. You just gotta, like, just look at it that way. You know, if you're gonna hate on me, and if you're gonna, you know, make fun of me and call me weird names and say all kinds of stuff just because of the way I sound in the videos that I do and stuff like that, just remember that I have a medical disability, and it's something that I really cannot change, and it's something that I have to live with. And just be grateful that you do not have this problem that I have, because it can get annoying sometimes. And like I said, with the whole thing about not being able to have kids, like I said, yes, that did come back to haunt me. I kind of wish that, you know, I was able to have, you know, children of my own, at least just one, you know, that would be nice. But unfortunately, that's not in the cards. If I want to have children, I'm either going to have to foster, adopt, or, you know, be a step parent and stuff like that. So, I mean, it is what it is, and, you know, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't change that. So I mean, I'm hoping that these videos, and I'm hoping this series of videos kind of like educates you a little bit, kind of opens up your eyes a little bit and stuff like that. And, you know, and like I said, if you have any questions, especially if they're legitimate questions, I do not mind answering legitimate questions about this this whole thing, about hypogonadism, what it is, symptoms, anything you could think of that maybe I didn't cover, or maybe you want to see me cover in a future video about it. Let me know. Please ask questions. If you're gonna just ask a question just to be dumb or to try to be funny, no, I ain't gonna answer those kinds of questions. But if you legitimately want to know something, please put them in the comments. You know, if you think that it might be a dumb comment or something like that, or, you know, or you think it might offend me, I've heard it all. I don't think it's going to offend me. So ask away, especially if it's legit and you legit want to know something. So there's that. But, so yeah, not much in depth with you know, getting diagnosed with it and stuff. I mean, I could share some appointments that I've been on, some awkward things. If that's something that you want to hear, let me know. Because, you know, when all this was being figured out and stuff, I did have a few awkward appointments with doctors and stuff like that, trying to figure some things out. So, but if not, that's okay too, because like I said, some of those instances are really weird and a little embarrassing, but you know, but as you know, I'm also pretty much an open book, so so that's up to you guys. But I just wanted to, you know, let you guys know that when I was diagnosed, how I was diagnosed, kind of like what I kind of go through on a daily basis when it comes to certain things. And if you're wondering about that noise in the background, one of my neighbors apparently is cutting something down, and it sounds like. So, but anyways, with all of that being said, like I said, let me know if what you want to hear about next, any kind of comment, anything, let me know. But anyway, that's gonna about do it for this video and this latest entry into the series of My Life with Hypogonadism. And of course, if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, that way you get notified of future videos, whether it be for this series or for any kind of video in general. And of course, if you want to support this dumb little channel of mine, you can do so in 2 different ways. You can either hit that join button, become a member of the Idiot Squad, or you can scan the little QR code. It's going to pop up somewhere on the screen there. It'll take you to Cash App. You can donate via Cash App if you like. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's all strictly voluntary. You know, I'll never make you do anything that you don't want to do. And of course, you can follow me on all the major socials if you want to do that. Check out the merch store if you have not done that yet. All those links are all down below in the description. Just click on that little link and it'll take you to the link tree, and boom, all the links will be right there for you. But anyway, I'm getting quite tired. I have been up pretty much 24 hours already, so it's time for me to get ready, go to bed, because I work again tonight. And of course tonight, like I said in the beginning of the video, tonight clocks go ahead an hour, so yay, we're gonna be gaining an extra hour of daylight, but losing an hour of sleep tonight, so that kind of sucks. But, you know, just look on the bright side. We're getting an extra hour of daylight. But anyways, with all that being said, I hope you're getting warm out there since it's warming up, and I hope you're all having a good day, good night, good week, whatever the case is when you're watching this, because you know I never know exactly when you are watching this. And of course, I will see you all in the next video, whether it be another video in this series or just another video in general, you know, whatever it could be. I will see you all then. And until then, you all know the drill. Bye for now, guys.